If I could say anything to police care and to my therapist, it would be thank you for ultimately saving me and for hearing me and seeing me and making me learn that what happened to me wasn't my fault and my trauma didn't define me. And it doesn't define me, you know, I'm not recovered from it, but I'm living and I'm thriving now. So it'll be thank you for just hearing and making me feel seen again, making me feel like I can do both. In May 2020, a young female that I had previously worked with in my old role went missing. So I went to Major Crime and I said, oh, she wouldn't just go missing off her own accord. She wasn't like that. She was a really lovely young lady with loads of aspirations. So they looked into my old sort of role, my notes, all of that. And then I think it was about a week or two later, she was unfortunately found murdered. And that day I was sent to the scene of her murder. Time went on and I just became numb. I carried on, I went to jobs. And then in the September of 2020, I really significantly went downhill and I couldn't function anymore. And I had a breakdown at work and I was referred to Ock Health. And they diagnosed me with complex PTSD because of the situation. I needed more help. I was told that it was a stress resilience issue, that I wasn't qualified for TRIM. So I actually was sat on the loo one day and I saw a Police Care UK sign. And I thought, right, if they can't offer me the support I need, Police Care UK will hopefully be able to do it. And I remember calling them and it was like a breath of fresh air. There was just an initial understanding. I just felt heard. I felt like I was finally being seen after being swept under the rug, being told it was a me problem. With Police Care UK, I had 12 90-minute sessions initially, and they really worked. It was very painful in a sense, but in an interesting and a kind of a good way, because once you'd gone through that initial bit, it was filed, so it was very helpful. And then I had a break from it, but unfortunately towards sort of the end of 2021 into 2022, I relapsed and I became suicidal. But I did go back to Police Care UK and I said to them, I'm still having the flashbacks. Smells are a huge thing. I wasn't sleeping, I developed a binge eating disorder, and it was just no problem. They got back to me and they arranged it so that I could go back to the same therapist. So I had the continuity, I didn't have to revisit anything that we hadn't already revisited. And they offered me another 6 90-minute sessions with ease. And after those sessions, it was a huge, huge step in the right direction. It was always kind of a mix, so it was mainly EMDR sessions, but within those we would discuss and talk through things, even outside of the lights flashing. I think in policing there's this huge stigma about being tough and resilient is thrown around all the time, but actually under the uniform we are human. And for so long it felt like I was defined as a person by the state of my mental health. I started to realise it wasn't a me problem, it wasn't that I was rubbish at my job or as a mum or as a human being. It was that for so long I hadn't been heard and I hadn't been seen, and I was made to feel like I couldn't speak up, that now I'm strong enough, why wouldn't I speak up? Because there are so many people who are probably in the same position I was years ago that are hiding or being made to feel like they should hide or are numb rather than allowing themselves to feel it. And we are losing police officers all the time to suicide. I think when it comes to police training, we are taught that we have to be strong and resilient. You know, we're taking on a lot of other people's problems and we're the first people on scene. So naturally we are robust, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you know, we're human and we are trying to be the best version of ourselves at work, as a friend, as a parent, as a police officer, as a sister, a mother, everyone. But something's got to give at some point, and it does, and that's when people break. And I think that's where we need to make sure the right support is in place, so that we don't necessarily have to be the best version of ourselves, but we can at least be enough for all of the roles that we are as a person. You know, we're throwing ourselves into danger and risk every day because that's what we want to do. We want to protect the public, but how can we protect the public in the way that we want to and need to if we're not being protected ourselves? It's been like a roller coaster. It's been pride and pain and happiness and laughter, and you find a family, and then you sort of find who your real friends are in the police when you go through the toughest times. But I didn't want to give up, and no matter how many people told me it was a resilience issue, I wasn't going to give up. I was going to prove them wrong, and I did. And that is why I'm here now, and why I am so pleased I found Police Care UK, because I can now speak up on behalf of people that can't right now, on behalf of people who might feel silenced or choked because they can't find the right words. Because when you're in that place, you can't find the right words. You just plod along. You just survive every day. You're not thriving. You're just getting through.